Hi everyone, I'm Dale Pinkert. I'm your anchor here in FX Street's live analysis room. TGIF, everybody. It's been quite an eventful week. Dollar has given up some ground. Let's take a look at what I talked about yesterday. So yesterday we were on this candle and cable, and I pointed out the divergence right here at about 52.60. Had a nice rally to the 200-day, so it was good for about 100 pips. Hope some people elected to take the trade looking for a reaction. I was looking for at least 53, so it exceeded my expectations, but do not ignore these divergences. Take a picture. This one was classic. So how's everyone doing today? How are my trading warrior brothers and sisters doing? Hello, Jax, Borgia, Veteran, Fame. Pretty populated house today. Seamus, welcome to LAR. That's a new handle. Everyone welcome Seamus. Anyone take advantage of that pound dollar divergence yesterday? Everyone welcome Seamus to our community. I see another one. Let's see. Welcome Surge. Let's make these new handles feel at home. Gio's back. Gio was here the other day. Ali's in the house. Mike, Khalid, FX Steve, Alexandros, how are you? Abel's in the house. Hello, everyone. So now we should get a pullback in both the pound and the euro. So even if this was the bottom, we should correct to 109.5, but I still think that we're going towards this under 109. These could be very good dollar buying opportunities, shorting opportunities. BOJ did nothing. I was looking for over 22. That didn't happen. I'm still going to be patient and wait for maybe this could be 1, 2, and maybe we get a third drive sometime next week in US dollar yen, something like this. That might be enough to take out stops next week. Okay, well, if you don't know, Tico, take half off now and use a profit stop. Congratulations, Tico. Hi, Ziggy. Thanks for your tweet. Everyone congratulate Tico on his long cable trade from yesterday. So when in doubt, get out. And there's nothing wrong. You're not going to go broke taking half of your profits here. No one ever goes broke taking profits, Tico. Everyone congratulate Tico. Hello, Dr. Severaman. How are you? Dr. Severaman has a very interesting system. I think that he's a great addition to the channel that Mauricio's developing. Also, we're going to have Boris Schlossberg with us in a little over an hour at FX Flow. Boris appears on CNBC regularly. I think he's one of the better minds as far as analysts out there. So looking forward to our conversation with Boris a little later on. He's partners with Kathy Lean. So we're going to wrap it up with a strong interview. If you love LAR, give me a Y. I love LAR. There's my Y. Because I get an edge working with you guys every day. I think I could do okay on my own, but I do better masterminding here in LAR. Who agrees with me? Whose trading has gotten better being part of this community? If so, give me a Y. Here's my why. I've gotten better. I've gotten better being part of this community because Laura is not about me or you. It's about everyone. And I believe we do have a mastermind in here. So Canada's been trying to hold up. It's holding the 200. Maybe we get one more shot at Canada up here next week. If it could generate another rally, looks like we're starting to channel underneath the highs. So maybe right up against the highs again next week. Of course, if we take out 1 1/4, 29 next target. Hiya, Fab. What, man? Oh, Alien's here. So I want everyone to acknowledge Alien on his analysis of the dollar last week. And he thought there might be a little bit more strength in the Dixie. But to me now, it looks like we have a couple of drives to a top in the dollar. I'll show you the Dixie in a minute. That's the S&Ps. I think they're on the verge of topping too. For the 1 millionth time, I think that. So last Friday, Alien and I had a conversation in Hangout, and he had a bearish bias, so it's possible that it might be beginning here, Alien. But I see the potential. Just look at this. Here's 1. Here's 2. And I'd like to see 3. One more push up into next week. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Maybe 98.30, 98.40 back against these highs. So you don't have to agree with me, but thank Alien, because I think his scenario could unfold next week. Yeah, there you go. He was smelling the roses. So does everyone see the potential of a third drive to a top formation setting up in the Dixie? This was 1 pullback, 2 pullback, and the next thrust could be terminal. Ziggy loves Lar. So give me a Y if you understand the potential scenario setting up in the dollar for next week. Your best trades are when you're ready for them ahead of time. The weekends are a very important time to do your work and be prepared so that when the market's at an area, a critical technical area based upon your work, you're not in the process of analyzing, you're in the process of executing. How about an amen on preparation so that you're not analyzing on the fly, but you're prepared to execute? So that means planning your trade. Amen on being prepared ahead of time to take action in the markets. And that means doing your work beforehand. Okay. So that's my view on the dollar. So if the dollar pops one more time, maybe we get one more pop in USD CAD and USD Yen. We get another shot down in, I think Euro will lead it. I think Euro will lead the to the downside, the next push up in the dollar. Because we're still not quite there yet in Euro Pound. We're getting closer. We have another negative week in Euro Pound. Now that it's Friday, everyone should be looking at their weeklies. So this line's coming in right around the 70 mark. So there could still be another 170 pips to the downside in Euro Pound. Those are my calls, guys. Beautiful line, Zig. Those are my calls. The next one's yours. So let's go to work. I don't plan on doing anything new today. Maybe into the close so I could have something to worry about. And today is Friday, the day before Halloween. So here's what I'm recommending for a happy hour. This is my recommendation for all Arians for happy hour. There you go. And let me know Monday if any of you tried it. That's my happy hour recommendation. For some of you on the other side of the world, it's probably already happy hour. So cheers to you, my trading warrior brothers and sisters. Thank you for another great week in our community, for all your contributions, for making this the best community on the net. Thank you, everyone. What about gold? Hi, Deb. Welcome to LAR. I think gold is still vulnerable to about this range right here, 1120. It's a pretty negative week. So I think you have to wait for it. When I look at the weekly, if we don't hold this, say, 1120 area, we'll end up going to Chi-Town's 1030. Doesn't look that great to me. Okay, that's possible. I don't think that's such a great looking week, Dev. So I'm neutral. Or how about this for a shocker? I don't know. I'm never afraid to say I don't know. I knew up here that it was due for some type of pullback. We'll see what it turns into. Maybe we even get an 1100 test. So don't wait to buy gold and wait. I say wait to buy gold. Energy looks better to me. But let's look at some retraces. Let's see what 1776 has to say here. Is this a gold chart? This is euro. Okay, so you're pointing out this tail right here. So you're short, and you're looking for a retest of the lows. Everyone thank Mr. 1776 for his view and his look on Euro USD. Thank you, buddy. Is that your first? So everyone congratulate Mr. 1776 on losing his virginity. So Mr. 1776 lost his virginity. Yeah, including the S&Ps, right? Borja has a look for us. He's looking for 108.10. This is a nice wave count. This is my preferred scenario, Alien, what Borja's putting up here. 108.10, 111.70, yeah. I actually think we'll go to 102. If this count is correct, Borja, I think we take out the 104.5 low and we go to 102. Everyone thank Borgia for his, is this a daily? I think it's a daily euro. Thank you, Borgia. There's a bearish outlook on euro. Everyone thank Borgia for his euro dollar view. How you doing, Seamus? DFS. Hope you're enjoying your time in LAR. Everyone thank Borgia. AISE is back. Serge, what do you think? Ali, Geo. Khalid, what are you stalking? FX Steve, what are you talking? Stalking. Jax, how are you? It's a daily? Okay. Thank you, buddy. So maybe one more push up in the yen crosses for shorts. I'd love to be able to short euro yen here, right here up against the 200. I've been talking about a rally to 4.5. Now I have to shorten my belief, but I think there'll be a nice short up here around 134 in euro yen. Aussie yen, I do not know what to do with. And the guppy, if we could just get one more push up here. Look at a 4 hour. I don't know, 86 has been big. Maybe that's it. Okay. I would not spend a lot of time trying to figure out why, the whys, but just go with the flow and treat. I do a lot of correlation work, Dev, but you really at times just have to treat each instrument as an individual entity, because correlations at times work and sometimes they break down. Just trade them like they're two different currencies. Consider gold and oil related but different currency. That's how I would coach you, and do not spend a lot of energy trying to figure out why. Okay? The whys don't make you money. They're great to talk about the markets with, your buddies over a drink at a cocktail party, but it really doesn't matter why, does it? Here's Borges' longer term look on euro. I'm guessing that's what he's sending here. And I guessed right. I am a professional guesser. 104.5, then back to 110, and then down to parity in September, right before the elections. Interesting. See, I think we'll take out this low. If we went to your purple line right here, in mid-December, that would be what, about 102? Where would this line come in? Because you have it holding at the double bottom. I'd like to see it clean out every last Euro bull first down here, if this plays out. Capiche? Where would that come in? 102.50? I'm just guessing again. Where would that price come in on the purple line, Borgia? And everyone thank Borgia. Okay, it could hold. So you're still wasting energy. Thank you, Borja. And Alien, I just sense a little bit of you being too attached to an outcome. You know, I love you, but I just sense that from you. And Deb, you're still wasting energy. Okay, here's my answer to your question. Yes. You know, I'm your coach too, right? Right, Alien? So, Deb, yes, it is decided by the players and supply demand. And the black boxes. And the algos. You could spend a decade trying to figure out what's making price move. That still won't help you trade. Just my opinion. Coach Pinkert's trying to coach you. We all have a certain amount of energy in reserve. Why not use it for something that gets you to your goal? If you want to be a professor and teach theory, that's one thing. If you want to be a trader, that's another. You understand my point, Dev? And the longer you're at it, you'll come up with your own theories. Just remember, price is everything. That's when people are voting with their wallets and their purses. So every time there's a trade, people are voting, right? And there's someone on the other side of every vote. Everyone doing okay? Lar did pretty good calling this top in the Canadian this week. Alien called it. Clever called it. Veteran called it. And then there was a take profits right before the Fed, which was a great cover. And then I said we could rally back to 32.20. So far, that's what's happened. Yes, I do. FX Pro. Where do you live? Where do you live? FX Pro is our sponsor. This is their platform. I'm using it right here. I like it. This is one of their platforms. AISE. Go to Forex Pro and tell them Lars sent you. I don't know who Forex Broker Inc. is. Never heard of it. Sounds pretty vanilla to me. Forex Broker Inc. ABC Commodities. You know what I mean? Go with a well-known name. Go with a well-known name. There still are bucket shops out there. I'm not saying they are, but I think you're always better off going with someone that's well-known, has been tested during different market environments. Anyone that survived the Swiss unpeg and their customers were unscathed, that would be a good choice. And FX Pro is among them. Call me biased because they're my sponsor. Hope that helps. Canada coming off. You live in Chicago? That's where I'm from Chicago. So you can't open an account with FX Pro. So here's a channel that we have developing in Canada here. Everyone could take a picture of the 1 hour Canada, and here's what I see. This is what I see in Canada. We get a breakdown under 120 and can't rule out if the dollar has some oomph to the upside. One more time, another test up here. You don't have to agree with me, but just give me a Y if you see it. A new channel developing in USD CAD. Give me a Y if you see it. You can visualize it. You don't have to agree. Just want to make sure that you get it. Everyone get this new channel developing here in USD CAD? Hi, John 573, FX Steve, Geo, Chi-Town, everybody. I'm glad it's Friday. How about you guys? Okay, good, good. That's what I'm looking for. I got the I can't stop trading blues. I can't stop trading today. I want to break even, but it's too late. I got stopped out 100 times this week. I just want to break even. Can you lend me a dime? But if you spend time in LAR, you could be a star. And if you trade real well, you might even be able to buy a car. I got the Stopped Out Blues by Dale Pinker. What do you got, Ben? Veterans graduating to mini lots next month. Veterans turned into a pretty good technician. All right, you're seeing the same thing, pretty much. Oh, you have a different internal line. Okay. Nice look, Ved. Whoops. Whoopee. I want to thank Veteran for his Canada view. Thank you, Ved. Anyone have the Stopped Out Blues? I've been stopped out 100 times. The battery in my mouse has gone dead. Everyone doing okay? Here comes the equity opening. We're opening up higher. Not a ton, but higher. So Chi-Town, you have any looks on that theory? Chi-Town? FX Pro. It's C Trader. C Trader. So, Chi-Town, let me ask you this. Do you think that the stock market can tank with the euro tanking? That's the question. If we see a blow off in the dollar, is that going to be positive equities or positive bonds? I think probably more positive bonds. NASDAQ double top. Could be, Tico. I like it. Got a little fade going here. Or at least back down to here. I see. Everyone thank Tico for his NASDAQ look. Could trade the triple Qs off this. Nice look, Tico. Yeah, to me too. The weekly looks pretty bad, doesn't it? In fact, I was thinking about you, Chi-Town, when I looked at the weekly here. The target that you talked about, 1030 in the gold, is looking more likely now. See this weekly? This would be 1, 2, 3, and the third comes in around 1030. You're a very good reporter, bud. You see that on the weekly, Chi-Town? That's your target down there. Lower again. So the yen goes to 125. Oh, no, it goes to 109. It should be 109 and lower euro. But there's your 1030 target on the gold, buddy. So I thought about you when I was looking at the weekly here today. Another advantage of working with other people, you remember their forecasts and then you start to see it on your own charts. So to me, 1030 is looking more likely, maybe in buy gold at 46.50. Yeah. What are they, Zig? What are they? A shooting war with China? So there's the look in gold. What I'd like to see is gold make new lows and the shares make a higher low. That would be pretty bullish. If gold takes out this low and mining shares, gold mining shares do not. Okay. You have any charts with that look? Deb, you have any charts with that opinion? We'd like to see your reasons why 110.45. So get some screenshot software and show us why 1045 is a sell. Here we are. Yell and testify. Oh, okay, thanks. So we're getting a nice pop in euro. Not so much in the pound. And euro pound should be popping on this. Yeah. Still don't think this is it in euro pound. But this was one of your numbers, wasn't it? Alien had 71.40 as a possible low. I think he had 140 as a possible low in EG. I still think this looks like A, B, C, and we get one more flush. So let's look at some fib levels off this wave in EG. So we're at the 50% retrace. Maybe we go to 7206, 61.8 back on that EG. I still cannot declare this a bottom, buddy. Well, thank you. Thank you, Malcolm. I'm not sure if it's a revolution. Talking about a revolution, yeah. The Beatles. Anyone else agree with Malcolm? Thank you, Malcolm. But you know what? It's not about me, it's about everyone. My thoughts are a compilation of taking in information from people I respect. It's not all original thinking. Anyone else besides Malcolm out there love me? Give me a Y if you do. And it's also very important to love yourself. So I love me today. I love me. Just as you have to not only forgive others, but forgive yourself, you also should love yourself. The S&Ps are fading already. So we're right at Deb's cell zone, 1045. I think we almost got up there. What's that mean? Do you love yourself, DFS? So I went to the doctor yesterday, just my GP. Oh, yeah, that's an interesting thought. You're always thinking Chi-Town. My brother from my hometown, Chi-Town hustler. So it was a little over a year ago, I was in the hospital. And he asked me, well, you want to have an MRI and see where you're at and all of that. And I said, no, thank you, DFS. I've decided I fired all my doctors. And I'm going to let God number my days. No more chemo, radiation, or surgery for me. I'm done. Even if I'm done, I'm done. So don't take your trading too seriously. I know it's important, but it's not life or death. That's why I bring it up. This is what we do, not who we are. Hi, Abel. Thank you, veteran. He had 110.35. What do you mean? I don't remember him even talking about prices in the euro. 110.35 for what? A sell? Thank you, Zig. Back at you. I'm not sure what you're saying, Chi-Town. For a short? Like Dev? So Martin Armstrong's following Dev's work in here. Okay, here's an idea. Yeah, I take a product I got from Lydia. I bought this product from Faith Mike, Lydia Item Finkley, and they're actually capsules of both vegetable and fruit juice. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me do this again. 10.55. And then at least correct this bounce. Okay. S&Ps are lower now. Unchanged. Everyone thank Alien for this and everything he does for our community. If you love Alien, give me a Y. Who loves Alien Ovicho in here? Okay. I do. I love Alien. You're a character, Jax. I love you too, buddy. Thank you, everyone. Another productive 40 minutes in the live analysis room. Another productive. PMI strong, okay. Is that helping the dollar at all? Not much of a reaction. See, people love you, Alien. Not much of a pop on a good number in the dollar pairs. That's a whisper. All right, I'll try this. Are you a distributor? Chi-Town? Because I'll order it through you if you're a distributor. Are you? So you could get credit for it? Send me an email if you're a distributor. Linus Pauling did a big story. You know, he was really the champion of vitamin C. So there's my email for you, Chi-Town. What kind of fool am I? You're not? Okay. All right, 1776. You usually don't what? I got you under my skin. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Your mind, you do the you do the Vulcan mind meld. Stop manipulating us, alien. Stop manipulating us. Everyone tell alien to stop manipulating our thinking here. He just wants to take over the world, that guy. It's called Juice Plus. Juice Plus. How's everyone doing? Jay Sharma, welcome. Everyone welcome Jay Sharman to our community. Make Jay feel at home. Yeah, keep manipulating us, man. You're like an FX chiropractor. Alien's an FX chiropractor. You got me. Keep manipulating us. I'm going to take a quick break here, my friends. I'll be back in 5. Stand by to hear what Boris Schlossberg has to say. You guys could keep collaborating. I'll be right back. Thank you, Adinda. Everyone give Adinda a shout out and a thank you for moderating, for facilitating the YouTube channel for us during LAR. Everyone thank Adinda. Thank you, Adinda. Okay, I'm back, Adinda. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing here today? Boo! Trick or treat, everybody. I'm the unknown trader. I'm the unknown trader. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. Sounds good. Let's do it. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, my good friends. I hope I didn't scare you too much. I hope that you don't have gray hair like me now. Did I scare you? All right, Chi-Town. I hope I didn't frighten anyone too badly. I'm the unknown trader. Euro pound fading a little bit here. Boris is going to be with us in about 20. S&Ps are down. Ali, what are you up to? Looks like the yen wants to pop again, and the Canadian. Thank you, Jax. Thank you, buddy. Stand by for Boris. Got you under my skin. Everyone doing okay? Good one, Zig. Sounds like me. That's what I do. Jax thinks the cable rally's over. That economist sounds like me, Ziggy. Yeah. At least back to here, maybe, huh? Nice look, Jax. Thank you, buddy. Everyone thank Jax. I didn't want to do that. Oh, good one, veteran. So it's joke time. Thank you, Jax. So this older guy goes to the doctor to get some blood work done. And the doctor says, I have some bad news for you. And the man says, oh my God, doctor, what is it? He said, well, you tested positive for HIV. He goes, HIV? I'm 91 years old. I'm 91. How could I have HIV? So he leaves the doctor's office in shock, and he's walking towards his car, and he sees a friend of his, and his friend goes, what's wrong, buddy? You look terrible. What's wrong? And the man says, I have HIV at 91. And his friend goes, oh, that's not so bad. I have IBM from 190. Like that one? He had HIV from 91 and his friend had IBM from 190. I think IBM's trading 140 right now. Okay. Now here's another one. A Japanese businessman goes to his banker at Chase and he's bringing over yen to convert to dollars and brings over 1 million yen. And the banker goes, well, I could convert this to 200,000 US. And the Japanese guy goes, how come? I thought it was worth more yesterday. So the banker explains, well, there's a lot of volatility in the currency markets and a lot of fluctuations. So the Japanese businessman says, okay. Comes back again, and the banker only gives him 180 US. And the Japanese businessman goes, how can that be? Last week, I got 200,000 US for the same amount. He goes, well, currency markets are volatile and there's a lot of fluctuations in price. And he comes over one more time and the banker says, well, I could give you 140,000 US. And the Japanese businessman says, don't tell me. I fluctuated again. Ziggy remembers that one. Don't tell me I fluctuated again. I'm my own best audience. You guys like that one? Currency fluctuation. Currencies fluctuate. Good one, man. We got to laugh, my friends. It's a tonic. It's very healthy to laugh. It blew through, huh? Barely. So we're about 13 minutes away from serious business with Boris Schlossberg at FX Flow. Okay, Abel, my good friend. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Abel, for everything. I love you, buddy. That's pretty good. Why? S&P's reversed. NASDAQ's reversing. Nice call, Tico. Everyone congratulate Tico on his NASDAQ call. I don't get it. Everyone congratulate Tico. Yen's acting weak. Dollar's acting weak. EG still rallying. Maybe you're right, Alien. Maybe that was it. So we have a reversal week in the euro. Yeah. Got a little reversal week. There's your weekly euro. So Alien's right about a reversal week. We'll see. We get follow through. Okay. So you think it bottomed at 71.40? Maybe that was it, huh? I don't think we have a reversal week in EG. No, not yet. Nice call, Jax. I think 71.40 was Alien's target. For what, Ali? Better entry for what? For everything? Yeah, that may have been it. You're good, buddy. But you had 7140 in EG, I remember. To buy? To buy it? For a buy, Ali? Yeah. I know there's an ascending triangle here that I was looking at early in the week. So we did a pretty good job identifying 5260. You're looking for 56. Okay. Thank you, Ali. So you want to sell the dollar on a pop next week?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Is that you, Boris?
That is me, Dale.
All right. Well, you're a little bit early, but why don't you give me a minute and we'll go ahead. All right.
No, take your time. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting sound, and it's fine. You can wrap up.
Good test. That was a real good test, man. So we're good to go. Everyone's looking forward to hearing you. I'll be back in 1 minute and we'll get started, buddy.
No problem. Take your time.
Okay, Boris is in the house, everyone. Stand by for Boris Schlossberg at FX Flow. We'll get this interview going in about a minute. Stand by. Okay, Boris, how are you today, my friend? Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm good. And, of course, I'm coming in at just the perfect time in the New York session when everything just blew up, right? Euro took out the...
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Now, I was looking for a more hawkish statement from the Fed just based upon the fact that the S&Ps were close to 2,100 compared to in September when we were trading 1,900 or so. So the financial market conditions have changed. I'm almost suspecting that the Fed sells puts and then sells calls and have a strategy on the market here. So, but today, within 2 days, we're giving a lot of that Fed statement back. Where's your head at on the dollar?
Yeah, just sort of funny story. I just actually remembered 30 years ago when I just graduated college, I actually had a chance to work for the New York Fed, and like an idiot, I passed up the opportunity. But like one of the things that happened when I was being interviewed was they walked me into their currency trading room at the New York Fed, and you know, of course I didn't understand any of the stuff that was going on at that time. I was just a young little idiot from college. But what's fascinating was that the currency trading room at the New York Fed was tiny. It was like 4 people. And it just, when you said to me, the Fed sells calls, sells puts, it made me realize that even now probably their trading operation is quite small because they don't have to have a lot of people to move a lot of size. Since the Fed basically can sell and buy at will because it doesn't need any money. It just simply sells and buys everything on its word. But I thought it's actually a funny idea of them basically buying, selling puts.
It's like they're putting on a strangle because she was so dovish about China, and now that China's recovered and the S&Ps have recovered, the statement was interpreted as somewhat hawkish. The dollar blew up, and basically people are putting these back on the table. I'm not sure if anything's going to happen. There is precedent, I've heard. They did stop the taper in December. So what do you think? I mean, the dollar to give back its gains in about 24 hours. You probably had a lot of people turning excessively bullish the dollar. It's almost looking like that may have been a great buying opportunity in hindsight. In Euro, especially cable.
My view on the Fed is that the Fed basically is responding to political pressure, not economic pressure. I said this a couple days ago on CNBC. I said that, oh man, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let's see if I can mute the sound here.
Okay. Because the sound is clear and clean.
No, it's just the sirens, just endless sirens out of, this is New York City sound, and it's just so freaking loud.
The man is coming for you, Boris.
The man is always coming for me. It's just anybody who's done webinars with me knows sirens are my background noise.
You and I did not take the advice I learned or I heard from a very wise man a long time ago. He said, "Dale, make your money in a closet." So stay low profile, and here we are holding ourselves out to the public all the time. So
right, exactly.
Go ahead with your view on the Fed here. That they're political. They're sure not going to want to look political into an election season next year, are they?
No, and my point being is that there's such enormous amount of pressure from the right side of the spectrum for them to hike rates to sort of normalize policy. And even internally inside the Fed, they hate the idea of all the G11 policymakers hate the idea of non-normal monetary policy. They hate the idea of QE, period, because it takes away all of their tools. They don't have any interest rate tools. They basically have to do the other thing, just keep running money. Looks like, well, euro is really, really starting to run. I actually, to paraphrase Yogi Bear, it's always better to be lucky than good. We were short euros 10.45, and I hate being in trades when I'm in webinars because I can't really watch. So I closed everything out at 10.40, which was perfect because otherwise now everybody is scrambling to try to cover their shorts in my room right now. So anyways, the Fed, I think, is basically wants to just hike the rates once and be done with it to stifle their critics. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's justified or that it's a good idea for the economy, or that it's going to be a continuous cycle. In other words, even if they do hike in December, I think it's going to be a one and done for quite a while. Because how
about a one in reverse like Trichet?
Well, that's always a danger. So this is where they're caught between a rock and a hard place. They hate the idea of being pressured by all these people. They don't, frankly.
Who are these people? I mean, we have Republican candidates that have been saying for a long time to audit the Fed, abolish the Fed.
Yeah.
Who are the puppet masters that want to force the Fed's hand?
It's really the right side of the spectrum, which wants to sort of tighten up a monetary supply, which believes, for I think a lot of false reasons, that we are going to enter hyperinflation. The people on that side of the spectrum believe that all of their assets are going to be destroyed by German-like hyperinflation. When in fact,
so they're worried about the wheelbarrow being worth more than the wheelbarrow full of cash.
Right. When in fact, the future of our life is much more like Japan 1990 through 2020, rather than it is Germany 1918 through 1925. We're much more likely to have an incredibly long period of deflation. And like you said, the danger here they're afraid of is they're going to do a BOJ or an ECB where they raise rates and prices still stay super low. Nobody has any demand. Nobody's spending any money. There's no runaway inflation, and they have to force. We may even go into a contraction, and they have to force prices to the downside. They have to push rates back down to the downside. There is, I think, nothing more embarrassing than hiking rates and then lowering them again. So they're desperately trying to avoid that, but at the same time, they're also trying to just shut up the critics that want them to hike the rates. And that, I think, is the internal dialogue, the internal debate that's going on in the Fed right now. Because when you look at the actual data, when you look at the actual numbers, there is absolutely no justification for hiking rates in an environment where we're at right now. And also,
okay, so let me ask you this: if they do fold to pressure, would that kind of set up a buy the rumor, sell the fact on the dollar? The dollar. A lot of people have been.
Yeah. Especially, you're right. Especially if they kind of say, hey, we raise the rates, and we're not going to raise rates for the foreseeable future. That we're trying to normalize policy, and we're going to watch for quite a long period of time. There's a lot of ways where they can say it. We basically say, hey, we're never going to raise rates again, and that would create actually sell the dollar mentality. You're right. And what you're seeing here in the euro, and what you're seeing sort of, I'm watching dollar yen as well, is this dance between the uncertainty, the bulls and the bears. There is no clear trend right now in the currency market, and I think that's the most interesting takeaway, that people are trying to force a trend into a place where the trend really doesn't exist, at least on a short-term basis, because there's no clear definitive policy paths.
That's a great point, because if you pull up your weekly chart, a lot of people were saying we were breaking down out of a bear flag after the Fed, and there was really no follow-through. I'm always a little bit suspicious of breakdowns that give people 3 days to think about acting on it.
Right. Just pull up the dollar yen chart just for a second, just to show these people. You can just pull it like on a weekly basis. It's right there. It's the third one there, right? So this is dollar yen. You have, this is the hourly chart you have. But if you go like weekly,
here's
right?
the weekly.
Right. If you go weekly, if you look at pretty much this year, it's a 120 trade with 22 to the upside, 18 to the downside. That's it. That's it. You lost your charts there, Dale.
Okay. Well, I was moving it to the page you were on. I think Dinda doesn't have the right box showing, but there we go. Okay, so we have the yen up here.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we might just need to take out 122 to shake out bears one more time. Were you surprised that the BOJ did nothing?
Yes. So here's this is the other thing that I think is kind of interesting, and I'm only speculating. I'm completely 100% speculating. I have zero inside information on this, but yesterday there was a release on M&I that said the Fed went back to the ECB and said, please stop jawboning the euro. That is, we will try to raise rates, but please shut up and don't try to talk the euro down, because we can't. The one thing the Fed doesn't want to have happen is a super big rally in the dollar. They don't want.
Yellen talked about it about 4 meetings ago. And
exactly.
Actually, that marked the high in the dollar index around the 99-100 level.
Right, precisely. So, so my suspicion is they did the same thing with BOJ. They said, "Listen, guys, we're gonna go in December. Okay, we're gonna shut up all these people who are bothering us, but you've got to give us a little bit of cover. You cannot freaking accommodate into our rate hike, because it's going to put dollar yen into 125 within a week." And I think that's really what happened with Kuroda. Kuroda basically took out all of the dollar yen bulls yesterday by saying, hey, yeah, we're not going to do anything, right? and I have a feeling it was a coordinated action because the Fed is trying to prep. They really the BOJ, ECB, the Fed talk to each other every frigging day. If you don't think those three guys coordinate policy, then you really don't understand how the world works.
So now they do plaza accords covertly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. That's interesting.
Because everybody's 10 times more intricately intertwined, right?
Yes.
Everybody's very intertwined, and especially if you think about in a world right now where who's our enemies, who's our friends. We only have two friends. We have the Europeans and the Japanese, and we have the Russians and the Chinese and everybody else on the opposite side. So you really want to make sure that you don't hurt your friends and
right.
you don't help your enemies.
That's interesting.
So
yes,
anyway,
interesting. Go ahead.
So I do think that there's a lot of covert cooperation, and that's why, unless we just get disastrous numbers, which I don't think we will. Employment data has been pretty good. Unless we get just disastrous NFP numbers, it feels like the Fed is going to come in and hike rates in December just to pacify everybody, and that may very well be, like you said, the top of the dollar rally for the time being.
Okay. So there's probably people that are going to say the top of the dollar rally may have happened this week. On a weekly basis, the euro's now higher on the week. It's actually a weekly reversal.
I think I think there's one more push. Well, it depends, but I do think that let's take a look at the euro chart. Oh, we were on the euro. We're on the euro. Yeah, I think there's one more. I definitely think we at least retest the 109s, but also the 108 is a very big support level. It kind of feels like it wants to go there. I also think the euro is of all the trades, euro is definitely a sell the rally trade here. I mean, maybe there'll be. My point is that if the euro gets up above 112, Trichet is going to get on the wires and going to start talking it down. Okay, they want to make sure euro doesn't get up above 115. And the Fed basically, is pretty comfortable with the euro being 110, 108. They can absorb that.
Well, if you look at my 4-hour chart now, Boris, on Euro USD, we have drive 1, drive 2. I'm big into 3 drive formations. Would take us down towards a low 108 area, and we would most likely have a nice divergence down there if that happened.
Probably, yes.
Okay, so. And you know what? That jives with a lot of the stuff that our community, a lot of people have been looking for buys in the euro down around that 108 level or so.
Okay, so we're on the opposite side of that, and we're looking of sells in the euro into the 111s. Okay. I don't trade. I don't trade positionally at all. I only day trade. But Kathy, who's my better half, and you guys have had her in the room. She's the positional trader, and that's what she's looking to sell it in the 11s.
Yeah, last time Kathy was on, she made a great call. I think euro was trading 111, and she said that you guys had orders to sell between 13 and 14, and 115 was a high. So if you were able to gut out that drawdown, that was a nice trade.
We did, and that was worked. Kathy's been on fire. I think I literally something like 45 consecutive winning trades. I don't even know how many trades she's this year. She's just been on fire since May of this year. So she's really been calling.
Well, tell her I'm available to be adopted as her grandfather.
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about the Fed. You know what's been bothering me, Boris, is how active Putin has been. Can we switch to geo a little bit? Mm-hmm. And what do you think is behind us sending a naval boat to challenge the Chinese? I worry about that. Do you think it's, do you?
No, it's all saber rattling. I think it's just it's a brushback pitch, to use a U.S. metaphor.
Okay.
I don't think anything. The Chinese are our frenemies. We have way too many important economic ties with them to really get involved into a pissing match over a few islands. On the other hand, it's also a warning to them that, hey, you may think you're a big military power just because you're a big country with a large GDP, but we can still kick your ass from here to sundown, and that's pretty much a message to them.
How about the rumors that the IMF, which normally does a review of reserve currencies every 10 years in October, delayed including the yuan and the SDR, and there's talk that it may happen next month.
Yeah, I'm surprised, honestly. I mean, I'm surprised because I understand the political. Again, this is I think more of a political than economic factor. China is a massive economy. You have to respect the fact that they're they're a huge part of the global GDP, and that many people settle now a lot of trades in yuan. At the same time, China could be the single biggest bubble we have ever seen in the history of the world. And to me, the yuan would could be the Turkish lira of the emerging markets.
Of Asia. Wow.
Of Asia.
Okay.
If the thing implodes, there's massive amount of malinvestment in China. I mean, in the trillions of dollars. And the thing about it is, I don't think they have a robust enough economy to kind of in the U.S. criticize all you want, but we have a robust enough economy where we can drop $1 trillion, at a table, and still come back a couple of years later and pretty much, have enough wealth to regenerate growth.
Is it wealth or the printing press, the reserve currency status?
Well, the point is
really wealth, or is it central planning?
No, it's not central planning because the economy has grown. It hasn't grown well, but it has definitely grown. Facebook is bigger, Google is bigger, Apple is bigger. These are real companies, real products. So it's not like you can't make the argument that all of U.S. growth is just simply Fed based. As a matter of fact, Fed can print $1 trillion. It doesn't matter. None of it is being used. What people don't understand is that if I print $1 trillion but you don't spend it, it's as though I didn't really print it, and it's exactly what's effectively happened.
So it's all digital. It's all digital anyway.
Yeah, it's also non-real. People think that just because money has been printed, it's being spent. It's not, and that is the biggest problem actually in the economy, is that there is no demand. Money is not being spent. So
yeah, money velocity, despite what's happening with printing, it's a waterfall.
I don't want to get too wonky on the economics, but the velocity of money has actually dropped by half, which completely negates all the printing press propositions that the Fed has done. But my point is that U.S. dropped $1 trillion easily in the credit crunch of 2008, and it was able to come back. Will China be able to come back when they drop $1 trillion in real estate losses, corruption losses, state-owned enterprise losses that are rife with basically zombie companies, and come back as an economy? I don't know. My point is that they're not advanced enough technologically to maybe come back as quickly as we are. So
they also blew their demographics with their one-child policy, didn't
exactly.
they?
The idea of the whole thing. This was, I thought, fascinating. So yesterday they come out saying, okay, we're going to go to a two-child policy, right?
Right.
Of course, way too late and much too far behind.
I'm shipping Viagra over to Shanghai today.
But the idea of the whole thing is that when they ask man in the street, hey, aren't you excited about having 2 children? All the Chinese are like, no, because it's too expensive to have a second child.
Yeah.
So the irony of the whole thing is that when you move up the scale from emerging market to developed nation, it actually becomes very expensive to.
Yeah. It almost smacks of desperation for them to reverse on that policy.
Children go from being assets to being liabilities. Anybody who lives in New York City can clearly tell you just how much of a liability a child is.
And San Diego too, Boris.
Exactly.
It's expensive. I don't know, what is it, from birth to college, something like $600,000 or so to raise a child, and I think that's
in New York
conservative, isn't it?
In New York City, I am sure, and I'm not even talking about, like living large. Just an average New York City child, like an average, sort of a educated New York City child living in in Manhattan is $1 million easily as a liability for for the full 0 to 18, and that doesn't count college. And college is probably another $500,000 after that. So yeah, I mean, that's the idea of the whole thing is that in industrialized nations, children has become a really huge liability. And at the same time, and this is a very interesting sort of a long-term point, we have way too many old people and not enough young people to support them. The single biggest problem that we're going to have is even if you look, I look at New York City right now. If you walk the streets, I don't know if you see the same thing in San Diego. What you have is lots and lots of old people in wheelchairs, right, or barely dragging themselves around, being supported by home care workers, right, and all those other things. And when I look at that person, right, and I'm just looking at it from an economic point of view, suspend your moral outrage of what I'm about to say. I look at that person. That person is a $200,000 per year liability to society that is utterly and completely unproductive. At the same time, you look at a little child who may be in an impoverished neighborhood, right, who doesn't have vaccines, who doesn't have food, who doesn't have education, who is essentially an asset wasted because he gets spent $5,000 a year on him. We as society spend maybe $2,000 to $3,000 on a child and $250,000 on every old person. Every old person thinks that they pay their own way. Wrong. We're paying $250,000 a year per every old person, and they are a complete drag on our society. So this story is repeated.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I'm an example even, and I don't consider myself an old guy completely yet, but I mean, surgery and everything.
You're always young at heart, my friend.
Yeah, it was like $500,000 for what I had done last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm still a producing taxpayer, but you're right. In fact, Boris, maybe that's why the trend is changing towards euthanasia. I mean, we put Kevorkian away, and it was just signed into law here in California that if you're terminal, it's a right to die state now.
Well,
so I know they're not doing that because of their belief in being, how can you say it, just trying to be charitable and let people. It's because they're a liability, and they could stop paying their Social Security checks and everything else.
It's massive, and I'm in no way sort of advocating forced euthanasia. Of course not. But the point is, my kids know, for example, they have a mandate that if I am not functional, if I am not ambulatory, I'm not functional, their job is to take the wheelchair and kick me into the Hudson River. I do not want to spend. I've seen some, including many people in my own family. I've seen people for basically from 80 to 100. How many people, years? There are people who are incredibly active, very functional, fully engaged, no problem whatsoever. But then you have people who are 80 to 100 who are basically vegetables. Yeah. And morally, it's a terrible issue. But I'm talking about financially. That becomes the single biggest cost that nobody in the society is talking about. And this is what Japan is like. What people don't understand is, why is Japan the future of the rest of the world? Because they are just there much faster than the rest of us are. Right.
So we're talking about demographics here, and I've interviewed Harry Dent. That's his major thesis for bear markets and contractions are the demographic trends happening throughout the globe. Probably more important than Fed policy. What do you think?
Absolutely. Which is, the irony of the whole thing is, instead of less immigration, we need a lot more immigration in this country. What people don't understand is that we need a lot of young people to come in here and do lots of work and add capital to this country and support the non-productive part of the population that's going to be 50% of the population very soon. So the one great thing about America so far until now has been that we basically, America has always made all its money off the backs of its immigrants. Even if you look at all of the new companies that we have, Google, immigrants, Sun Microsystems, immigrants, almost half the companies in
Tesla.
Tesla, immigrants. Right, all immigrants.
Great point. And what are you? Are you second or third generation?
I am yours truly, first generation, off the boat.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go.
Yeah, another example.
Yeah. So my, yeah, exactly. So my point is that that's actually been a really super positive part of our country and economy, is that we allow anybody to come in here and make money, and the end result is that everybody gets much richer because of it.
That's a great perspective, because I always looked at our golden age and the big wave up that we finally came out of that economic contraction after winning World War II. I thought it was more about the victory, but it was probably more about the mass immigration from Europe prior and after that led to the big boom that we had into the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in addition to the fact that, of course, we were the only industrial power left standing, so it's multiple factors. It's not just one single factor, and it's never always one single factor, but it's a very important factor. Innovation happens when you have new people come into an economy. If you don't have, if you have closed borders, you have closed minds, right?
When I hear Donald Trump switching gears a little bit, talking about building a wall, a Great Wall. I think that wall is going to be built to keep us in producing like cattle. How about you?
Maybe. It's a horrible thought. It's a horrible thought. I still believe in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So,
okay. Where are you going? Where are you going into this election? And I know, don't talk politics, don't talk religion, but this is my show. So, what do you think? I'm really not inspired by any candidates on either side.
I think you express almost every single American voter's point of view, that there isn't anybody who truly stokes your imagination. Having said this, though, I find this a really fascinating election, because on both sides of the spectrum, the candidates that are most interesting are the ones that are sort of least conventional, right? So on the left, Bernie Sanders has completely and totally moved the Democratic Party
left
to the left. Then 30 years, and then 30 years of liberal politics ever could, in a very, I think, intelligent manner. I don't think he will be the nominee. The irony of the whole thing is, I thought he was a better politician than he is, but he's not. He's got great ideas, but he's not able to express how those ideas would actually benefit capitalism, right? So, for example, the idea that $15 an hour minimum wage is actually the single greatest thing that will make Walmart much more profitable is something not being explained to the American public well. Because all of the money, all of the growth in the economy comes from making poor people richer. It never comes from making rich people richer. Rich people who become richer, all they do is spend they've already bought the boat, they already bought the house, they already bought the 5 wives, and they already bought whatever vacation they want. So all they're going to do is put their money in bonds, right? But a rich person but a poor person who makes an extra $10,000 a year is a person who buys an extra car a year, and that is where General Motors becomes a huge runaway success. So,
great point.
Like minimum wage at $15 an hour is actually the single greatest capitalism thing you can do. And I'll give you the example that people.
And it's being painted as a left-wing redistribution of wealth.
When in fact, it's the exact opposite. It's the single greatest form of capitalism you can possibly imagine. Let me give you a real-life example. Henry Ford, in 1905, did exactly what Bernie Sanders is proposing. At that time, I think the wage was like $1 a day, right? And he realized that if he was ever going to create a mass market for his product, the people who actually made his product had to be rich enough to be able to afford it. So he paid everybody $5 a day, which was unheard of. At that time, it was the equivalent of $15 a day, whatever that we're looking for now. And that allowed all his workers to buy Model T, which in turn created the automobile market, which in turn created the infrastructure for the United States, which in turn created pretty much the whole United States economy. So this is the irony of how the economy works. The problem is that everybody looks at the economy the way they look at their own family budget, but it's the exact opposite. When it comes to the economy, the government should be spend as much money as possible and save as little as possible. When it comes to you, you should be saving as much money as possible and spend as little as possible. That's the difference. And it has to do with the fact that our actions in aggregate are very different than our actions in individual. And people always make that mistake that what's good for me should be good for the country. It's the exact opposite. It's two different things.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I interviewed Professor Steve Keen yesterday, and he's saying that we need some type of debt jubilee for consumers to get this economy to grow again. And people for years, Boris, have said that the TARP would have been better spent sending a check to every American than what it was used for.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. The single greatest thing we can do to jumpstart our economy is forgive every dollar of student debt we have. The fact that we have more student debt than we have automobile debt is not only immoral, in my opinion, utterly immoral. The fact that we take young people and turn them into wage slaves, and you understand that student debt in America is the only form of debt that you cannot dismiss. You cannot
dismiss it through a bankruptcy.
You literally can go into your Social Security age and have your Social Security wages garnished to pay off your student debt. If that isn't slavery or a form of slavery, I don't know what is. And it is the single most immoral thing that we have going in this country. So the number one thing we can do is forgive every dollar of student debt instantaneously. And that would do more to take – people go, how come 50% – 50% of 25-year-olds, 50% of 25-year-olds live with their parents. That is just insanely high when you think about past generations. Why? Yeah. The reason they're living with them because
you and I couldn't wait to have our own place, and we were able to do it.
We were able to do it. The whole point is what creates an economy? Household formation. In order to have household formation, you actually have people willing to form households.
I had 3,000 in student loans out from when I went to school in 71 to 75, compared to add two zeros to what most kids have now.
Here's an interesting story. My wife's father, who is retired now, obviously, but he was a professor of mathematics in New York, was a very, very poor man. Went to Princeton University, was able to pay for his full Princeton tuition by working summer job as a waiter for 4 straight years. Now, that's the difference between America 1950 and the difference between America 2015. And now the point is that this man, who had very little resources, became an incredibly valuable member of society, paid millions of dollars of taxes throughout his life, has retired on millions of dollars of money, and all of that a function of the fact that he was able to participate in the American society. So you tell me that you don't have that story a million times over amongst the current generation that simply isn't going to be expressed because they are forever buried in unnecessary debt. That's a big problem, I think, in our society too. So anyways, Dale, you and I could run for president, I guess.
You know what? You just read my mind. Boris and I share the same birthday, so we're both a little bit schizophrenic, but we're also very passionate about our beliefs. And I was going to say, I don't know whether to nominate you to be Fed chairman or run for elected office as U.S. president, but this was a great conversation, and you gave us some areas in the Euro to pay attention to. And what I love about interviewing you, Boris, is I can go anywhere and you're prepared with thoughtful answers. So I wish you and Kathy and all your clients a great fall trading season with pips raining down on you. And thank you so much for joining us today and giving us some things to think about over the weekend as we head into the 2016 elections, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for hosting me, Dale. It's a pleasure. We'd love to come back anytime, and we'll talk more currencies anytime we come back. So thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, just email us at contact@bkforex.com.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to answer.
You could follow Boris at FXFlow as his Twitter handle, and I encourage people to keep in touch with a team that proves my modern day math that Kathy Lean and Boris Schlossberg is 1 + 1 = 11.
Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you. That's the nicest thing I've heard all month long. I think on
Have
that
a
note,
great,
we gotta stop.
have, have a great weekend, my friend.
You too. Take care,
Thank you,
my friend.
Boris.
Bye bye.
See ya. That's Boris Schlossberg at FX Flow. Hope everyone enjoyed that discussion. We did get one point that I think is significant about his view on Euro for one more break. I don't know if he's a communist, CMC. I think he made sense. The greatest step forward, Vedran, the greatest step forward in the EU is when we move the clock forward. That was great. The bank took the car. All right. Yeah. Did you guys enjoy Boris? I like the guy. How about you? You guys enjoy it? Global Futures? Is that his company? So I had a great week hanging out with everyone. How about you? I'm going to close up a little early today. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions this week. Here's my wrap up. So the euro came all the way back to recover all of the hawkish, somewhat hawkish statement. So we'll see how much more upside it has. I still think that there could be one more drive down towards 108. Yesterday and prior to the Fed identified in the pound the 152.60 level as being important. I showed the fib level 52.58 after the Fed. We moved sideways, and then yesterday I showed the divergence that was developing here on this candle at 260. So I hope that my guidance, along with everyone else's, was helpful. Of course, I wasn't looking for this kind of extension of the move that we have here in the pound. Euro pound, I'm still not completely convinced this is it. We have two drives. I'd like to see one more in euro pound. I'd still like to see one more drop. 199. And those are my calls, my friends. I want to thank everyone for their contributions today and all week long. Of course, remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. So let me thank everyone individually. I want to thank FX Street, thank Adinda for facilitating. Lar, I want to thank Ali for all his great looks and calls, and Vedran and Tico, Borja, CMC, welcome to our community. Alien, a great contributor. Ziggy, a good friend of mine. Jax, DFS, Dev, Fab, A's, Seamus, Jay Sharma, welcome to our community. Doug and Serge, welcome to LAR. John573, thank you. Malcolm, thank you for your compliment today. Ali, thank you. FX Steve, Geo, D. Kadick, my gambling friend. Chi-Town Hustler, Abel, CK. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Recharge your battery. Do your homework. And we'll get them again next week. That's a promise. Remember, money comes and goes. Time is gone forever. Make it count. I'll see everyone, God willing, Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Adios.